Today I will be discussing a portion of Act 3, Scene 2, The Merchant of Venice, where Bassanio makes his choice of casket. The scene actually takes place in the casket room in Portia's house at Belmont. Now, the characters who enter are Bassanio, Portia, Gratiano, Nerissa, and the other attendants. Now, when the scene begins, Portia asks Bassanio to wait for a day or two before he makes his choice of a casket, as she wants to enjoy his company for some time. Because if his choice is wrong, she will lose his company, as he has to then leave at once according to the injunctions which we have already seen, where it is stated that if the suitor chooses the wrong casket, he will have to leave immediately and he cannot talk to Portia. And obviously, the third one, whereas he cannot marry another maiden. Now, Portia begins by saying that something in her tells her that she should not lose him, though she does not know whether the feeling is dictated by love or not. But she is sure it is not hate, because it doesn't mean that if it is not love, then it has to be hate. Then this is not the case. So he must judge for himself whether hate would be likely to prompt that feeling, because obviously if you hate somebody, you will not tell that person to wait and give advice to wait for a while. In this way, Portia says enough to convey to Bassanio that she loves him. She is afraid that he may not understand what she has just said and is going to add an explanation, but she is suddenly overcome by maidenly modesty and says that it is not becoming for a maiden to disclose all her thoughts and feelings, that she says that, and yet a maiden hath no tongue but thought, because she is a maiden not married. So according to the norms of the society, she was not supposed to express her feelings. So that's why she says that it is not becoming for a maiden to disclose all her thoughts and feelings. She can only reiterate her wish to keep him there. She can only express what her wishes are. For a month or two before, he hazards a choice of the caskets. In this speech, Portia actually conveys her love for Bassanio, yet she restrains herself in a very noble manner. Now, she will not tell Bassanio which casket to choose, as she has promised her father. She's taken an oath, forsworn. She has been forsworn. So she has taken an oath, and the secret, she's not going to reveal the secret of which is the correct casket to anybody, and she's never going to break her pledged word. Now, it is not like today that you make a promise and you break it. So those days it was it's a sinful act if you break your promise. Now, since Portia will never break her oath regarding the caskets, she will never tell Bassanio which is the right casket. So, he may lose her, because he may choose the wrong casket. If he loses her, he will make her wish she had broken her promise. This would be the sin in her mind. She feels she can sin because she loves her. But later on, if Bassanio makes a wrong choice, at that point of time, she might wish that you'll make me wish a sin. She would wish a sin that she had broken the promise and had informed Bassanio about the correct casket. Now, Portia says that Bassanio's eyes have bewitched her and divided her, for she seems to be no longer herself. She says that half of her belongs to him and the other half to her. Even if the latter half does belong to her, it would still be his. So she is entirely his. Better half, we already know that concept. So she is telling that she is divided into two. One half of herself is hers, the other half belongs to Bassanio. And because she totally loves him, so that half which is hers, that also belongs to Bassanio. So in that case, she is stating that she totally belongs to Bassanio. Now, she calls these times wicked because they do not allow people to possess what rightly belongs to them. Okay. Thus, she who really belongs to Bassanio already because she loves him may never be given to him because of the choice of the casket, which is stopping her from becoming his. Okay. So, as we move on, we see if it turned out that she would not be his according to Portia, it would be the fault of fortune, fate, destiny. So fortune would go to hell for it and not she. Why should she be the reason? She finally acknowledges that she is talking too much only to prolong the time to its fullest extent and to put off the moment when Bassanio has to make his choice. Now, what is Bassanio's reaction? Bassanio wants to make his choice straight away. For his present state of mind, he's in suspense, he's in tormented state because he also wants to see what the future actually lies for him. Because if he chooses the correct casket, then he gets Portia, and if it doesn't choose, then he will not get Portia. So that's why he says that he's upon the rack. Now the rack was actually earlier times, in ancient times, people were actually tortured on the rack. So their hands were tied on one side and their legs were tied on one side, and it was a movable block which would actually stretch them until their skins would tear. So it was a way of making them speak out the truth to find out what information the people could from them. So it was a kind of torture. Portia teases Bassanio by telling him that if he feels he's upon the rack, that he's being tortured, then he must confess what treason or disloyalty there is in his love. Because the rack was actually, what I told you, is an instrument of torture. So it was used chiefly to compel accused persons to confess. So when Bassanio uses the word rack, he uses it in metaphorical sense, meaning that he's tortured by uncertainty. Now, Portia pretends to make the word rack in its literal sense. So she teases Bassanio and says that he must be a traitor and he must confess the treason that is mixed with his love. Now, Bassanio replies that there is no treason, there's no traitorship in his love. The only disloyalty or the mistrust, if it can be called a treason, is the fear that he may miss the enjoyment of his love, that he may miss having Portia as his partner. He says there is no more possibility of friendship between treason and his love for Portia than there is of snow and fire living amicably together. Because snow and fire cannot stay together. Because obviously if snow and fire is together, then either the water will melt and the fire will die out, or the water will melt. So there cannot be any kind of friendship, amity between fire and ice. Similarly, there cannot be any treason mixed in Bassanio's love. Now, Portia tells Bassanio that what he says is all very well, but she has to take his declaration with caution. Since he confessed that he is upon the rack, he must have made a statement under pressure. So he is not actually telling anything voluntarily. It is no more to be trusted that the protestation of those who are tortured on the rack, as they will declare anything and tell any number of lies to save their life. So when you are being tortured, when your skin is obviously tearing and you're in pain, obviously you will agree to whatever is being told. So even if that is a lie. So that is why she tells Bassanio, then since you are telling you're on the rack, so how do I trust what you are telling to be true? Bassanio replies that if Portia assures him that she will give him life, which is Portia's love, he will declare the truth to her, and he loves her dearly. In former days, life was promised to a traitor stretched upon the rack in return for a confession. That is why Bassanio gives the above reply to Portia, that he is actually, if you give me the clarity, yes, I'll be free, then I'm going to give you the confession of love. Now, Portia keeps up the metaphor of a traitor confessing and getting his life by telling Bassanio to confess, and then his life will be spared according to the ancient norms and system. When Portia tells Bassanio to confess and live, he says that if Portia had said confess and love instead, she would have exactly expressed all he had to confess. He had nothing more to confess than that he loves her. So Bassanio says that his torture is delightful because his torturer, that is Portia, teaches him words like confess and love that will deliver him from all tortures. Because if his love is actually turned out to be true and he chooses the correct casket, then obviously he will be relieved. Portia means, now Portia says that I am locked in one of them, you can go and choose. So what does she mean by that? Portia means that her portrait is one of the caskets, is in one of those caskets. If Bassanio truly loved Portia, then he would be able to lead himself to the correct casket. Portia has discovered by now that the lottery is a true test of character, obviously, because we have seen Aragon, we have seen Morocco, how by their nature they had chosen the casket. She no longer doubts the wisdom of her father's scheme. So she's sure that the one who loves rightly will choose rightly. So she tells Nerissa and the others to stand at a distance. She tells them to do this, to be out of the way when Bassanio is making his choice. Also, she does not want even the slightest hint to be given which may help Bassanio. But that is actually a wrong concept, because Shakespeare has done certain things which is different from what has been done to the other suitors. Now, Portia calls for music. Now, we have already seen that in the prior to suitor's case, there was no music being played. So, Portia calls for music, first of all, to calm the riot of her own heart, obviously, because she's also in a very tensed manner. When Bassanio is choosing the casket, however, she does not want to reveal what is going on in her mind, and therefore she tells that why the music is being played. The music, why is it being played? According to her, that if Bassanio fails, he will bid them his last farewell in the midst of music, and will thus be like swan that always sings before it dies. Now, what is the comparison stated over here is that it is an old superstition that the swan, which is usually mute, sings a beautiful song just before its death. Here she means that music should be played while Bassanio makes his choice, and in case he feels, it will be a dying swan's last song. Now, she further moves on and explains about how her tears will play an important part. To make the metaphor of the dying swan more complete, Portia says that her eyes, streaming with tears, will serve for the river, where the swan is swimming and singing before its death. Just as the river is deathbed of the dying swan, so her tear-filled eyes will be the deathbed of Bassanio if he meets with failure. So these two are the outcome if Bassanio chooses the wrong casket. Now, if Bassanio is successful, then what is going to happen? If Bassanio is successful, music will then be like the flourish of trumpets when loyal subjects bow down before a newly crowned king. And it will also represent the sweet notes of music that awaken the dreaming bridegroom on the morning of his marriage and tell him that his wedding day has come. Now, there was an old English custom of playing music under the windows of the bridegroom's bedroom on the morning of his wedding, which is referred to over here. Now, as Bassanio goes to choose the casket, Portia compares him with Alcides. Alcides, or whom does we refer to? Alcides or Hercules. Alcides or Hercules. Now, according to Alcides was Hercules, the famous grandson of Alcaeus. He was one of the great heroes of the Greeks, renowned for his strength, manliness and exploits. Now, according to the ancient story, Poseidon and Apollo were ordered to serve Laomedon, king of Troy, for wages because they had offended Zeus. Now, Laomedon agreed that if Poseidon built the walls of Troy, while Apollo tended the royal flocks, he would reward them. Now, when the work was completed, Laomedon refused to pay as agreed upon. So, Poseidon flooded his land with sea and sent a sea monster to ravage his country. The Trojans were compelled by an oracle annually to sacrifice a virgin to the monster. On one occasion, the lot fell upon Hesione, the daughter of the king Laomedon himself. Hercules arrived at Troy on his return from his expedition against the Amazons at that time. He promised to save Hesione if Laomedon would give him the horses which Tros, his father, had received from Zeus. He then saved her and gave her in marriage to his friend Telamon. The virgin tribute is the maiden Hesione offered as a sacrifice to the sea monster. She was bound to a rock on the seashore. Now, the phrase howling Troy refers to the inhabitants of Troy who were uttering loud lamentations at the sacrifice. Now, when Portia says the above lines, she means that Bassanio has as much dignity of bearing as Hercules had, but he goes with much more love than Hercules when to save the princess, because Hercules did not go to save her out of love, but to gain the reward of the beautiful horses for which he bargained with the king. Now, Bassanio is going to choose the casket out of love for Portia. So, Portia compares herself to the princess Hesione because Hesione was tied to a rock on the seashore of Troy. Now, she was in a state of dreadful suspense, expecting every moment to be devoured by the sea monster. So, Portia compares her terrible suspense, while Bassanio is choosing the casket to that of Hesione, as she is afraid that if Bassanio chooses the wrong casket, she will fall into the clutches of an unworthy suitor. Now, the Dardanian wives are the Trojan women. Dardanus was the mythical ancestor of the Trojans, so therefore they are called the Dardanian wives. Now, Portia compares the rest of the people in the room, like Nerissa, Gratian, and the others, who are standing apart, to the Trojan women. The Trojan women had assembled on the beach with tear-stained faces to wait and watch the result of the encounter between Hercules and the sea monster. In Portia's room, Nerissa and the others are standing apart and they are nervously waiting for the outcome of Bassanio's trial of the caskets. Hercules saved Hesione from death. Now, Bassanio, if he wins, will save Portia from unwelcome suitors. This is how the comparison is made. Now, Portia tells Bassanio to go ahead and make the choice of casket. She says that if he lives, that is, she succeeds, she lives. Because if he fails, it is death to her. She watches the test with more anxiety than he does. Because, why that? Because Portia means that if he does not succeed, it is death to her. She will be given to an unwelcome suitor. Like if Bassanio doesn't choose the correct casket, because Bassanio will be, say, in a better condition, because Bassanio will not have to marry anybody else, but Portia on the other hand will have to marry somebody whom she doesn't love. Now, while Portia's musicians are singing the song, Bassanio is commenting on the caskets. Now, what does the song say? The song says that some people inquire where fanciful love, not true love, originates, whether it does so from the feelings of the heart or from the approval of the intellect, and how it is kept alive. The reply is that it is only a passing feeling. It is not bred in the heart nor in the intellect, but in a glance of the eye only. That is what we see. When the glance alights on some pleasing form. See, obviously, when we look at somebody who is well dressed, obviously, we get awestruck, we actually get mesmerized when we look at that person. Person looks so well, without thinking what kind of a person he or she is. So, what first attracts us is the outer beauty. It is nourished by the continued sight of the loved one. It is very short-lived because it fades away almost as soon as it was born. Because we should, what happens, see, love, if it is born out of outer beauty, because when outer beauty fades, the love will also fade. It is not eternal. So there's a warning in the song. The song gives a warning not to judge by the eye alone, that is by outward appearance. Now, the theme of the song seems to suggest that Bassanio should not choose by outward appearances. It has been pointed that bred and head and nourished rhyme with lead, the metal of which the right casket is made. However, Bassanio is clearly commenting to himself on the caskets, while the song is being sung, so he cannot be expected to hear it or get its message. Can be. Now, secondly, Portia is bound not to help the suitors in their choice. So she has already told Bassanio that she was forsworn and would never tell him which was the right one. Now, thirdly, we expect Bassanio to choose correctly on his own judgment. Now, because Portia has ordered music just to ease the tension in her mind. Also, to presume that Shakespeare has introduced the song for the audience, who are made aware of the thoughts passing through Bassanio's mind, which are similar to the theme of the song. So Portia does not give Bassanio a clue to the riddle of the caskets through the song. Now, this is all you have to decide on, whether you feel that, it's your personal opinion, whether we feel that Portia had actually given some kind of an information through the song. Now, I would stop over here, and we will continue in another session with Bassanio's choice of casket and the rest of the scene. Thank you.